Hey, girl.
Welcome to Let's Pour Up,
Yes.
the podcast. My name is Colina Bruce, and I have two amazing guests with me today. I've never met them before,
Yeah.
so
Girl. Okay.
one of my guests has been flying the friendly skies for 19 years. Also failed an eye exam in elementary school on purpose to get glasses. We'll have to learn a little bit more about that. And is the owner of Turn the Table Decor, Latriece Bruce. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm Latriece Bruce. That's my introduction.
My second guest trained for crew,
Yeah.
loves to
Random.
paint. We'll learn a little bit more about
Yeah.
that too. Loves to paint for peace and clarity.
Come on.
And is the first Black-owned charcuterie company in the state of Washington,
Come on.
Whitney Williams. Welcome to the show.
Welcome,
Hey, hair flip.
All right. Well, full disclaimer, I've known you all for a very long time. Y'all are the friends that I have to give disclaimers about when I introduce you to the new friends. Like, just so you know, they cool, but they're very direct. And we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely.
But before we do that, I want to start with a moment of meaning. So I'm going to read a quote, and I just want to get y'all's reaction to it. The quote says, "Nothing I accept about myself can be used against me to diminish me."
Ooh, come on.
Is it giving?
It's giving like, don't let my insecurities take
That
over
part,
my
that part.
thoughts. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Or what's that one they said? If you want to tell the bad about me, let me tell you the pieces I had to pick up to get here.
Oh,
Have you heard that
yeah,
one?
I
Ooh,
haven't,
If you
but I
gonna tell the
receive it.
story, come on. Let me
Let me tell the full
put
story.
these pieces together.
Yes, well, it resonated with me. I just felt like it's one of those things where it's like we all have been through some things. We don't look like what we've been through, thank God.
Ooh.
But also, like, nobody can tell our narratives or rewrite our story, right? Like,
Absolutely.
if we claim it and we own it and we take accountability, it is what it is.
Come on.
Come on.
Um,
Me and sync with that. Come on.
all right, Latriece, you wear glasses. So, are these the glasses from elementary school?
No, so
or
I
do you actually
recently,
need
I don't know what
glasses?
happened. I turned 35 and my eyes just went bad. But when I was in elementary school, everyone around me was wearing glasses. So I
So
was
it
like, I
was-
really want some glasses. My sister had glasses, all my friends. So my parents took me to get an eye exam. And I was like, they're like, what letter is this? It was like E. I was like, G.
Just
lying. Just lying, right? So I ended up getting some glasses. They were thick. They had bifocals at the bottom. I started getting headaches. So my parents took me back to
Oh
get
my
the like,
God.
they're like, we need to get them adjusted. So I did it for real.
Yes.
And then I didn't even need glasses. Ooh, my parents were pissed.
They done
All
spent
that
a
money
coin.
they spent. Okay, medical
They done
insurance be
buying
like $50 for
And she got school pictures with glasses.
And I'm extra. So when I went to go get the glasses, they were light purple with like flowers on the
Oh
side.
my
all the
God.
details
A
and
mess.
everything.
A
Parents
mess.
just pissed
Lord
off.
Jesus.
And now I need them. Ooh.
Okay,
but for
so you
distance.
do really need glasses.
Now.
And you wear cute glasses.
I do.
Okay.
But you don't have them on right now.
No, because I need it for distance. You guys are close enough.
Okay.
Oh.
Come on. Well, I need glasses for clarity and distance.
Clarity?
Yes, I need to see very clearly, okay?
Okay, and you've been flying the friendly skies for 19 years.
19
When did you decide
years.
you wanted to be a flight attendant?
I wanted to be a flight attendant, so I was in the 4th grade. My aunt had a friend, me eavesdropping, always hanging around with the older ladies. She was a flight attendant. And I was like, oh my God, I really want to do that. I started looking into it. You go like get books at the library. Yeah, and it stuck
Okay.
with me. And I've been doing it. I started when I was 20, 39 now, 19 years.
Look at you. 39 where?
I feel it. These knees cracking.
Girl.
I'm just
Work
saying.
it
I
out.
can't
We
get
all
it.
got our ailments just walking around here. So what's the craziest thing you've ever seen on a flight?
The craziest, well, I mean, you see crazy things all the time. Okay, not craziest, but I say like a scary moment for me. Flying, we go through turbulence a lot. Ooh, but one time it was like mid, like you're in flight, it's smooth. I mean, it was like bam, bam, it started like hitting all over the place.
God.
At one
I would've
point we
been
had
praying.
some like
Girl.
like glass bottles that we used to serve the wine in, and they like hit the ceiling, hit the ground. I had like little cuts in my arm.
Jesus.
Oh
My crew member had like a bruise on her head, just really bad turbulence. So ever since then, like, you know how the flight attendants and the pilots always say, hey, the fasten seatbelt sign while you're seated, baby, they mean that, because at any time you can hit some
because I don't be
turbulence.
fastening my seatbelt.
We know.
They had to come by a few times. I'd be like, oh, Treese will be pissed. But
Yeah.
so you really should be fastening.
Absolutely.
your seatbelt.
Stay fat.
Yes.
Even
Stay
if you're
fast.
asleep, even if it's smooth, just because you hit
You just
10,000
never
feet,
know.
keep your seatbelt fastened.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes, you know.
Whitney,
What?
you trained for crew.
I did it one summer. My mom is always trying to get me into something.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're taking Lake Washington in the Mount Baker area, you always see them running.
Yeah.
And you see them on the lake. And so I was like, oh, I want to do that. And
Okay.
I did it.
How was it?
And it was fun. I think I wish it would have been a little bit more diverse. I was the only Black girl
Yeah.
there. So at that point, and I think that was where some of my insecurities came in, because there was no one that looked like me doing it.
Right.
And a lot of people had already established relationships and stuff like that, but it was the best shape that I had ever been in my whole entire life. It was hard work, but it was enjoyable hard work. I am not a runner. You can have me in any sport, but don't ask me to run. And that was the only thing that discouraged me as well, was the running aspect. But just being on the water, flipping over, it made me feel comfortable around water. And that was why I like crew. That was one of the reasons why.
I love that.
Crew.
And it's like you say, it sounds like it's an underrepresented sport.
Yes.
So we gotta see if there's some Black folks.
I know. I have never done that
Some Black crew
research,
groups.
but I always tell people, like, if you're athletic, especially young people, if you're athletic, you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Go into crew. It's a great sport, and of course, being brown or POC or Black, you know, we are immersed in those type of things. We would get a scholarship easily. So that's the truth.
Okay, and you brought these beautiful. I'm gonna show the camera these beautiful boxes. Tell us about these charcuterie boxes. What's in here, and with that, like, why do you love charcuterie? What got you into your business?
So I started Brown Girl Charcuterie 2 years ago. It was an accident, and as you know, Colina owns Norlux Candle Co. And she had just opened up, and I was like, oh, my birthday, what are we gonna do? And she was like, you can use my shop. And so we decided to host an event there where it was just for friends and family, and I wanted everybody to be comfortable, because you know, our circle, we love to dress up. But for me, I love to be relaxed. And I just wanted to supply food, but I wanted to do it a little bit different. And I was on Pinterest, and I kept seeing this thing called a grazing board. And so I started with a grazing board for my birthday party, and a couple of people had attended and seen stuff on social media. And they were like, oh my God, I love that. Can you do it on a smaller scale? And so I started doing charcuterie on a smaller scale, and people continuously asked. And so I created an Instagram page, and I got a bunch of inquiries, and I was like, oh, we need to filter. So I started a .com, a website, and basically that was for people to just figure out the price points. What was my prices and stuff like that. And I started out really small with smaller boxes, and now, you know, 2 years in, we have a functional website where you can pay, you can send inquiries. I've done a lot of nonprofits, and I've done a lot of corporate places, businesses, I should say. I don't know if I should drop names, but
I mean,
a couple of
drop them,
girl.
Unless you signed the NDA,
right? Girl, drop them names. Come on now.
I don't want to drop names, but we use their devices a lot.
Yes.
We use their apps a lot.
Yes.
So it's great just being a Black woman, and it's different and it's challenging at times because I do work full time.
Yeah.
So working full time and doing charcuterie full time, it's me trying to figure out my schedule, and I love my career. I work in nonprofit and it's helping people. So it's one of those things where, when you get a success, you're going to have to choose one. And that's the crossroad that I'm at right now.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. Cause when I started my business, everyone was like, same thing. Like I was working 9 to 5. They're like, you can't do both. You got to choose one. And for the longest, I did do both. And then I ultimately did decide to quit my job. And I think that there's a lot of risk that comes with that, and there's a lot of reward that comes with that. So making that decision is really like stepping out on faith, right? But for all of us, we kind of started these ventures a little bit later than life in life than maybe other people, some of our other counterparts. Specifically, like coming out of the pandemic, I think I'll speak for myself. I would say in my sector, it's like there was tons of candles, right? So it's not like I needed to start a candle business, but it was something that brought me joy that I felt like I could create an income from. Right. I think from when I listen to your story, it's like something that you loved or that you saw that you're like, I can do that. Yes. And then you kind of saw a need for it. And then being the first Black-owned charcuterie business, that even, escalates it even more. So how do you find that work-life balance for both of you? I know traveling, you're gone a lot, and then you're running your business. And what happens when, things are really, really high or when things are really, really low? Like, how do you kind of navigate those waters?
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know it's a loaded question, but
because I am a flight attendant, I'm gone. 3 to 4 days out of the week is hard. I don't want to say it's hard, but it's doable. That's how it started too for me. Like, what can I do to bring in more income? Yeah. And be at home. I love being a flight attendant, but also that requires me being gone. So what do I love to do? I like setting tables. I like entertaining. That's how it started. Right. But to be honest, it's hard. Like, I am a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a full-time flight attendant. It's challenging because when I am home, you're local, I have to be gone. So that could be hard on my husband and my children. But I make it work. Ooh, I be tired. Yeah.
Tired.
It's challenging because it's when I am home, like on my off days, sometimes I'm not present because I'm like on the internet or, doing some emails, trying to make sure I have the correct vision.
The wheels are always
always spinning. Yeah. But gotta make it work.
What about you, Lit?
It's tiring. It is. It's tiring. It's a labor of love. So because I'm passionate about it, because I am just a creative spirit, I love art. I love creating. It brings me joy. It's a piece of it helps me with my mental health. But also it's challenging because, like you said, your wheels are always spinning. So for me, I'm always trying to figure out what's the newest thing, what is going to be catching, updating social media, which is just challenging because,
it's a whole thing in itself.
I have 1,000 pictures in my phone and videos and all these things. And it's like, oh, I'm a post. But then you get an inquiry or you get an email or, you need to send an invoice or an estimate or, with my business, it's a lot of dietary restrictions, especially when you're serving a mass amount of people. You have to think about gluten-free, vegan, you're separating pork and beef, and some people are pescatarians, and you're trying to basically, what's the word? Cater to everyone. Yeah. So that, and then I work in housing, and so sometimes that can be challenging because we are serving the public, and you deal with people who have mental illnesses or who have different traumas in their life. And so, you bring that on to your life a little bit, that comes with doing the job. And for me, it's like sometimes I just have to switch it off. I have to switch off. I get off of work, then I head to the kitchen or I go shopping because I'm going to source food. Yeah. And with Brown Girl Charcuterie, we believe in freshness and uniqueness. So we like flavors and we like people to experiment with their palates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds sexy.
Ow.
Okay. So we have an after dark charcuterie.
Oh, that's a good one. You come on me. We can get some edible stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's press pause on that for
together.
now.
Come on.
All right. It's game time. So
ooh, we like a game.
They're just conversation cards. I'm gonna pass them to you. Just take a few and then take turns answering. Let me get up. Yep, you can pull them from anywhere and just take turns answering the card. If you don't want to answer it, you can skip it, but they're just simple table topic conversation cards. All right, go ahead and get started, Latriece. Whitney's going through the deck.
Okay, well, this one's a good one. Okay, it says, what's the secret to having a good marriage? Communication. And keeping date night alive. I feel like we go through, you're always changing. Yeah. From when you first dated, then you get married. We didn't live together before. So, coming together, sharing a space. Then you have children, constantly keep communication open. And the changes that are coming in the marriage, be able to communicate, talk, and then like elevate with all the changes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Adapt to it. I mean, it'll be 8 years in, so I don't know if I have like powerful secret.
Only is not.
Girl, because people came back.
Some people didn't make it out of the pandemic.
So the biggest thing I've learned, and something my aunt told me, one, communication, and keep your family out your business.
Come on.
That's just saying what's, because people remember certain stuff or whatever.
Girl.
So what's in your household, unless it's, something crazy, but keep it, you two work on it and work it out. Keep people out your marriage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. That's it.
real.
That's the main one. Keep folks out your marriage. Boom.
All right, Whit, you're up.
So this is a little simple. If you owned a boat, what would you name it? What would you choose the name for it? So for me, it would be Josephine. That's my grandmother's name. And, she just was the matriarch of our family, and I like to represent her. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's one of mine.
Okay, cool.
All right. We doing another one?
Yeah, do another one.
This one is, this is a good one. Which is more important, intelligence or common sense?
Ooh, common sense sometimes.
That part. I was just about to say, because you could be, some real smart people that just can't.
Baby, they can't even make it home. They gotta use a GPS to get home.
For sure. You need common sense to get, just to get by in life in general. So common sense. You could be smart, but also dumb as the door.
Girl, trust me. It just.
But yeah.
Okay.
Common sense. Come on.
Yes.
What is the hardest thing you've ever done? Ooh, child. I think one of the hardest things I've ever done was just moving away from home. That's my foundation. Moving to Nashville, it was challenging because I had a cousin and a friend. And baby, I ain't even friends with the friend no more. So I know, but it also helped me grow as a woman. So Seattle raised me, but baby, Nashville showed me how to become a woman, how to pay bills, how to date, how to require things in life, and stand on different relationships with distance, sometimes you think, oh my God, this person's going to be in my life forever. And girl, you move out of state, you don't hear from them. So sometimes it be like that. And it's not like, oh my God, I'm not friends with that person anymore, but it's just the distance. It didn't work out.
Right.
That's so all of those things. And then I was trying to establish a career in Nashville. And baby, they don't like to pay like Seattle do. So we can talk about that. Come on, that cost of living. So all of those things, it was challenging. And then also just going to school. I worked and went to school, and I was trying to balance a relationship with a live-in boyfriend, and all that was new for me. Live-in boyfriend, girl.
Ooh.
Do we still talk to the live-in boyfriend? Take a sip. Next question.
He's doing well.
He's doing well.
Not a life update. I mean, come on. Okay, let's
Mine
kind of
goes off what you just said.
Yeah.
What would you miss most about your home if you moved?
Oh, okay.
So I've moved quite a bit of times. You know, I'm from Cali, the Bay Area. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. And I moved pretty young. I was like 22 when I moved. I moved to Birmingham. But like the first hardest was missing that young. You know, you have your friend circle that you've known since you were a little kid. So it was the changing of the friend circle. So I miss the friends. Like
and
you
what
just said.
took you to Birmingham?
It was cost of living was cheaper. I had some family out there. I bought my first house.
Come on. Black home ownership.
Yes.
I was looking at buying in the Bay Area compared to my aunt. And switched me to Alabama, and sure enough, ended up moving to Alabama. Cost of living was cheaper. So I stayed in Alabama for 8 years.
Okay.
And then I met my husband on the plane. Hey,
Yes.
you know, put some gum in your mouth. You don't know who is sitting next to you. Although I was working the flight, you know. And he just had to holler at the flight attendant.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay.
It was coffee, tea, or treats. So then at that point, I didn't have any children, but I still had family in Birmingham. So that move wasn't as bad. But the biggest shift was moving to Seattle. I'm like, man, I don't know anybody outside of him. And then that's actually how you and I met.
Yes.
You know?
We didn't like each other at first.
Did
but we
not.
cool now.
Our cousins, our husbands are first cousins, and that may be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, we
but that was a struggle because I'm like, I literally don't know anybody. My husband is an introvert, and I'm very like talkative, outgoing, you know, like meeting new people. But you know, when you step in faith,
come on,
and everything just aligned up.
It
I loved his
did.
family,
It did. We just randomly,
we
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not randomly.
I mean, we connected through you, but
I
think it was at Tony's birthday.
It was
first
at
met
Ruth
you.
Chris, the happy
Yeah.
hour.
Hey, Tony.
And
That's
Hey,
our
Tony,
best friend.
we
She's
miss
been
you.
tired.
We
She
miss
can't
you.
bring
And
Tony's supposed to be here.
I know.
I know. We miss you.
I know.
Bestie.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Yeah.
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
So, what are your favorite apps? Cash App. Let's see.
Cash App. That's it. Come on now.
Period.
Let's
That's
see. Square, Invoice, Venmo, PayPal.
Come on.
Yeah.
Apple
Those
Pay.
Apple Pay, come on, we'll take that
Yeah.
too.
Take it on.
And then we get with the BECUs because
Right.
we need to check those accounts, okay? But on a serious note, what are my favorite? I do like to check stocks sometime. I like Instagram.
Okay.
I love Twitter. If anybody knows me, I love Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's Twitter to me.
Yeah, it'll always
But
be
don't try to
Twitter.
search me because, baby, it's locked down.
She said it's locked
It's
down.
locked down. Okay? But those are my
Okay.
favorite apps.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. You want to do one more?
I'm going to do one more because I
Okay.
feel like this. It says, who's the most optimistic person you know? And you're sitting right here. Yeah. even with us sitting at the podcast, I'm like, oh Lord, here she go again. Like she's always like pushing and trying new things, and I got anxiety. I'm almost like scared to try new things. Even with Turn the Tables Decor, you totally pushed me. You were like, you could do it, you got it, and I'm like, you know, I don't know anybody out here. Like, how's this gonna work? Just you're like, don't worry about it, you got it. Like, just
I received that. I mean, I feel like. For me, I am just kind of like, I need to try it and see what happens. I always say I have to have faith greater than my fear, right? That's how Norlex started. So,
and you definitely do.
It's still scary. I'm scared right now, girl. But, you know, I mean, we still got to do what we can.
You gotta just be like, what the fuck can happen? Who
That's
gonna
the
beat
thing.
my
Like,
ass?
why live
what's
life
gonna
with
happen?
regrets?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't ever want to be like, what if?
Because I think at a young age, there's things where you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have done. So when you hit 30, you be like, you know what? Okay, you might not like me, or
Yeah.
it might not work out, but I tried it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yep.
And sometimes you succeed and you shock yourself. But, baby, when you pray
Right.
about it
Oh,
That's
and
the
you got
thing.
God on your
Yeah.
side,
that's it.
And I feel like when you do
Shoot.
pray about it, you will receive confirmations. There will be confirmations that you're going in the right direction.
Absolutely.
However, with the optimism, I do want to ask a question. I want to offer a little pushback. Is there a such thing as being too optimistic?
Well, you asking this Capricorn
now here's
over here,
this
'cause-
thing with you.
Oh,
I think you are
dang.
optimistic.
Like it's-
No, I think you're optimistic with a lot of things. I think you see the best in people, and so
Yeah.
that's where I find it challenging being your best
Yeah.
friend. And you're always optimistic about people, and sometimes it's for the betterment. And I'm like, okay, yeah,
Right.
But sometimes I'm like, girl,
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's to a fault. I do
Yeah,
believe
no.
that. No,
Yeah.
and I think that in general, I think that if you're just kind of always hoping for the best or like hanging on to something for
Mhm.
what the hope will
Yeah.
be, you're setting yourself up for failure. So there has to be a balance of being optimistic and having realistic
and
expectations.
you're my balance for that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Oh,
girl,
definitely. Because I'll be like, can
I'll
I
be
do
like,
that? You
fuck
got
that.
it. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm the more cautious one.
Yes.
So I'm like, is this going to make sense? Does this work? You know?
But I think, and this brings me to our next topic of conversation, I think that you have to know your tribe, right?
Ooh,
and you have to
yes.
surround yourself with people who are not just like-minded, but who will also push you, encourage you, and who will also be real with you.
Yep.
And I think, I first started by saying these are my disclaimer friends.
Come on.
Because she said, and I'm a stand in it.
Disclaimer friend.
Because I think that a lot of times, we've had conversations about how it could get real raw. You have no filter. I don't know actually who's
Who is it?
worse.
I think we're both neck and neck with the no filter.
But
Whitney still is a little more nicer in her delivery. They always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
Mine just come all
It comes
it
out.
just be,
It
but
just come out.
what
It comes
I
out.
appreciate about that is that I know that I'm not going to get people who are just yes men and who are just going along to get along.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to have accountability partners and people who will be like, are you sure about that?
Yep.
Or, who will just tell you like, nah, sis, like that wasn't cool or you weren't right. And, at first you probably don't want to hear that because you're like, you're my friend, da, 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 da. But your actual
Absolutely.
friend will tell you when you're
Right.
not right, and I think everybody needs that.
Mhm.
Everybody ain't got it.
I feel like initially, even if we don't want to receive or hear something, you think about it like, who is this coming from? This
Yeah.
is somebody that's not trying to intentionally hurt me,
Right.
break my spirit. Like I need to really sit back and listen to like what they're saying. Like this is my accountability
Because
partner.
there is a difference
you know?
of something coming from a place of love
Yep.
rather than somebody trying to condemn you for your
Right.
actions. I think that's
I
two different
agree.
things. Yeah.
Trish said something earlier in the year. She was like, somebody isn't going to tell me, my partner isn't going to tell me something to harm me.
Absolutely.
And so when I think of that, I think about the people, the family members and stuff like that, the people that you're truly close with and who knows your journey.
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of times my friendships require that. You have to be a person who can call me out and be like, Whitney, no, you were rude. You were mean. You were this. Because sometimes it is. But they
Yeah, no,
also
that's
understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I really just don't.
Right.
Like you. But it's...
That'd be the main thing. I don't know if I feel hurt. That's
I'm not
Whitney's
quite
main
sure.
thing.
because
how I
I'm reading your
feel.
energy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times is I'm reading energy and you guys can attest to this. I'll be like, I'm not feeling that person's energy. And you guys be like, but Whitney, and this is where the optimist comes in.
That's Colina.
Yeah.
'Cause I be like,
You're
I
like,
did send something else
you
off.
did, you
I'm just saying.
and I'm like, girl. So you
And
know,
I'm
she's
like,
like,
but guys-
Colina's like, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's adding up.
not there.
Okay, but at some point, you also have to take into account.
You're right.
We all trust each other's
You are the
judgment
friend
too.
of grace.
You give grace.
We the
Absolutely.
nuck.
Well, I give grace
Right.
because
Girl,
I
we
pray
roll
for
it
that
down.
in return. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we navigate friendships where we all are coming from different life experience, different emotions, different approaches of how to talk to people? You know, I may be the more sensitive friend in the group. Not like I ain't no punk or nothing like that, but sometimes
She's like, let's clarify.
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear.
But sometimes, you know, you may say something that might hurt my feelings or whatever. How do we deal with that?
We call each other and we talk about it. So you gonna call Therese or I'm gonna call Therese or I'm gonna call you. We run it past a partner. You guys have partners. I have partners, so no play.
I mean, do what you do, honey.
Right.
We run it past someone. And then sometimes it's like we have to sit in, for me, I have to sit in silence.
Oh, yeah.
Silence is important to me because, one, I know my mouth is deadly, so I have to sit and think of the response I'm going to say. But yeah, I think part of it is just kind of feeding off of each other, because sometimes in that moment I have to say, Colina, no, you were wrong, or no, Treese, you were wrong, and then Tony will give us the therapy of it all.
Come on,
so,
come on, Black
I
therapist.
think that's kind of what balances us out. I think, though, ultimately we all have love for each other in a sisterhood, and that's what brings us full circle, even when we're in disagreement.
Yeah.
And then, you know, them husbands be like,
Oh, yeah. That will say that, I mean, you know, you're close with our husbands too. They are very, like, if something is like off and I mention it to Zion, he will be like, okay, well, you were wrong. Or you weren't wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I am able to receive from him. And if you hear it multiple times, so if y'all saying the same thing, he's saying the same thing, it's like, okay, reel it in.
Yeah.
Reel it in. And this is, you say you always, like you just said it, you have to sit in silence. Me, I do need to think about it, because I just go off immediately. And then I sit in silence like, ooh, that was me. You know? And then I have to come back like, well, I apologize, you know.
Later.
right after the
fact. It may be like, however, I try not to say but you know.
Okay.
And that hit us with a
however.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the transition to "and" is helpful.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you are apologizing and it's followed by a "but," it is very hard to receive.
It is not received at all.
It can be very hard to receive.
But
if you can acknowledge, I did this and I understand that I hurt your feelings and I was feeling this way, it kind of shifts. It's not like gaslighting or taking away from the accountability. It's just shifting the conversation to say, like, there are more than one thing that we need to address in this conversation, but I still need to I still need to take accountability for what I did.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, the next segment
is
a win is a win. So I would love to hear from you all some times in your life where you went through some sort of challenge or just had an amazing success. What does that look like, and how do we celebrate our wins? Because I think that celebrating wins is super important. So,
should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead, go first.
I think a winning is a win for me is, although it was challenging to move to Nashville, it was challenging for me to move back to Seattle. I got recruited for a job. I was making more money, and I was going to be closer to family and friends. I was going to have to get reacclimated to the city that I loved and I knew as a child, but I was going to have to venture into that as an adult. And I think the challenging part of that for me was coming home. I left everything. In 3 months, I got the job offer, a start date, and they moved me up here. And I was like so in love with this job. And they sold it so well, and I hated it. It was... they were racist. It was a far commute, and they didn't uphold some of the things that they had said when we were initially having conversations. Thank God I had a supportive friend who had a mother who had kind of dealt with some of the similar situations, and so I was able to be bought out of my contract. And I just was like, oh my God, this was the worst decision. I left my life in Nashville and I left my man. And I was devastated, you know, because it was like, what did I do to myself? And then now when I look back at everything, I'm like, okay, God had a plan.
Yeah.
You know, and he ordered my steps. And sometimes that is one of the things that we do is we challenge our faith with God. So sometimes we pray for things and we're asking God to be better or to have more or to align us in certain spaces, and we challenge him or we feel like he's failed us and we're not going through the whole process. And I look back at my life and all the things that I've been through since I've been back to Seattle. I'm like, okay, God, my life is better. I'm making more money.
Yeah.
I got men's. I got monies. No.
Right.
But I also have relationships. You know, you were far away, and I would have never met Treese, and I just would have never met some of the people that I have met, and I wouldn't be in the career that I'm in now if I didn't, you know, feel like I failed, but also seen it as a win now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like sometimes it's so far to see but beyond what's right in front of you. And when you actually go through those ups and downs and you come out on the other side, you're like, damn, all that stuff that was sent to set me back was actually a part of my come up. All the things that didn't work out for me were all a part of the plan for me to get to where I am. But it's really hard to feel and see that when you're going through it, because you're like, this shit is hard.
It's hard, and you feel alone, and why is it happening to me?
Oh God.
Ooh, baby, you know, but I think that helps me now deal with challenges in my life. Yeah. Because now I'm like, okay, what's for me is for me.
Ooh, absolutely.
You know, and God, he is taking me out of things that I didn't think that I was going to overcome. Ooh, so I'm like, okay, I can be a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on, optimism.
Come on.
Tell us about.
What is a win for me? Honestly, a win for me is peace of mind. I feel like when I was younger, it was like I need to do all of these things because what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, what a win looks like. I even struggle with when I first graduated high school, like all my friends were going to college, and I really wanted to be a flight attendant. But then, you know, I struggle, like, what does that look like? I don't have a degree. All my friends are getting degrees. But then I went ahead and did it. I prayed on it, like, Lord, if it's for me, open up that door. And just things just started to flow, even with the move, you know, the coins started to come in. Yeah. And then, you know, it's still peace. Peace, mental health is so big. You know, seeing my sisters struggle with some mental health issues, like just getting older, seeing people pass. I'm to the point now in life where does this make me happy? Yeah. This peace of mind, this piece of space, this friend circle is my home. Ooh, having your home is peace. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to walk in the door and know this is my comfort. This is my peace. So winning to me is at peace. Yeah. So if I'm uncomfortable, I don't feel at peace. Like I feel like I'm missing something. So at the end of the day, what winning looks like for me is happiness, peace, and sanity.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's real. All right. Well, I also want to talk a little bit more about our businesses. You guys are accomplished, amazing women who have multiple things happening in your lives. And I know we've talked about kind of the ups and downs and what it looks like when you start a business and you put all these resources and your emotions and energy and time into it and you're growing it, and how that looks like now. What are you continuing to do, or how are you navigating those waters? So either one of you can start.
Right now, I am thankful for my tribe. It's people mentioning my name in rooms that I'm not in.
That's key. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know, it's random people that I meet that are like, I'm going to mention your name, or I'm going to say something, or just, you know, this is nice to know. I'm thankful for that, because a lot of times they're like, so-and-so. I'm like, oh my God, you know, and even when one of the books called and they were like, you came heavily recommended, that was like an out of body experience from me, because it's like, this app that I use that I market on, and there are people in rooms again that are like, oh, we love her, and she, you know, she comes highly recommended. Also with my tribe is the help. So I do everything by myself. And so sometimes it's from the owner of the kitchen helping me load and unload, or, you know, just having an understanding for me, and giving me business support and telling me the things, the pathways, and, you know, just dropping knowledge. I think that's important for me right now. And then people that just come in late at nighttime, and help me wash fruit, fold meat, cut fruit, and all those things. I know. I'm appreciative of that. I am really at the point where I do want to hire people.
Yeah.
I think that's
expansion.
Come on. And I do want to expand. I want some type of storefront, but I want it to be unique. And I want it to be sustainable too.
Yeah.
So I think that that's important for me right now in my business, is hiring and figuring out Black grants and all the things.
Yes, like, where's the money?
Where's the money at? Because, baby, I think I would like a mentor. I think that would be my next goal, is finding someone who is a woman, who is a Black woman, and who will want to mentor me, and just kind of build relationship and friendship as well. Because I think in order for me to trust somebody with my business and, you know, money, I think that that's important for me.
So this sounds like a call to action.
It is a call to action.
If anybody wants
Auntie needs some help.
She's help coach to navigate a growing, amazing Black-owned charcuterie business. But also there are tons of different entities that do, you know, they offer accelerated programs or those sorts of things. And so, I mean, most of the time it is an application process, and, you know, that everybody's trying to get into those. But there's also some dope Black women in Seattle that probably could be like, I got you. Or I can at least connect you with the correct person.
And they have. Some of them have. So I will say that. You know, I do. One of my things on my Instagram page is to always connect with businesses. So if somebody is just searching through my page and they can't find what they need on my page, they can go through my friends list, the people that I follow, and say, oh my God, I have turntables. She can give me decor. I have an artist.
You gotta stop calling her turntable.
I know.
That's right. Turn the tables.
Turn the tables. I have a candle company.
Sorry, guys, it's a little inside joke.
Right. I have a candle company that, you know, I know someone who can curate a candle for the scent that you are specifically looking for. Or I have a catering company, because I'm not opposed to saying I'm not doing big meals. Yeah, I'm not frying chicken or cooking pastas or whatever it is. I'm just not doing that. But I can put people on, and that to me is important. All the way down to like working in the gym. You know, I know trainers and I follow them. So all of that is important for me. And then
it's the network
in the community.
Yeah, that's
absolutely. Important. And then lastly, if someone comes in wanting to own a business, you know, we all have this a friend who does something good, right? Yeah. One of our friends we just talked about, she's a painter. And I'm always like, girl, just start. Right. You know, just start. And I think that with them seeing you and myself, all of us, they're like, oh, we can do this. Or just getting the support and the push from us, oh, we can do this. Or just having that conversation. And I think that there's levels to it. So.
For sure. Yeah, I think seeing people in your circle that are actually like realizing things that they were dreaming boundlessly about creates, you know, it ignites something like,
because you always feel like, oh my God, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need
this.
I need
it's
this,
always it's a scarcity mindset, right? You always think that you don't have enough. But I think too, working in the nonprofit sector, you don't always have what you need to do what you have to do. You just gotta get started, and you gotta
ask people for money.
You gotta ask
every year. I'm like, how do I turn?
One thing you
get real comfortable with.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we don't have funding, and how? So I think that's one of the things that I'm working on. Is like, hey, I don't have it, but can you give it to me?
For help. Yeah. shifting your mindset to understanding that asking for help does not mean that you are helpless
or
right?
failing.
Oh, there
Exactly.
you go.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm at right now. How do I, like, this is my passion, but how do I turn this passion into a paycheck?
Yeah.
You know, like, what does, like, this is what I love to do, but I'm also still in, like, the growing stage of it. Like, and honestly, in the beginning, I'm like, is this worth it? Like, right now, and I know in the beginning of anything, like, you have to put more into it before you get something back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's me is trying to get it to grow. I need to get out and network some more. But yeah,
You're still doing it.
I'm still doing it.
And,
trying to get it to
the
grow.
thing about it is we can collab. You know, I love that a lot of our counterparts are collabing with us, whether they own a studio or they paint or whatever. They're like, hey, I need charcuterie. Sometimes I'm like, you having charcuterie at a baby shower, or you know, or you have,
what you mean?
Yeah,
They got
I know,
meatballs.
but sometimes I think bigger. You know, you want the meatballs, you want the
No,
fried
they want
chicken.
charcuterie.
You gotta have the
They
classic baby
yeah,
shower meatballs.
I want the baby shower meatballs, baby. So when they're like, oh, I want charcuterie, and I've done funerals. You know, I've done it all.
Yeah.
And I guess that was my insecurity, thinking that, you know, thinking small. You gotta think big, bitch.
We always try to support Black-owned businesses on the podcast, and these are called Listen Bitch. And they are affirmation cards to remind you who the fuck you are.
Oh.
Okay, so everybody doesn't want to use the B word. It could be listen queen. It could be listen
Girl, I didn't curse my life away.
woman, lady,
Well, you know, just in
sir.
case the pastor's looking at this, I'm going to say, listen, lady.
Whatever you want to say, but I'm just going to ask you to pull an affirmation
I'm
card.
not either.
And I'm just going to ask you to read it out loud, and then we're going to cheers, and because we believe in the power of manifestation. Yeah, you can still drink, girl.
Girl, I need
While you guys are pulling your cards, I was just thinking about something when you guys were talking. Here, I'll hand this to you. There was I feel super bad because I don't remember his actual name, but you know the actor from Everybody Hates Chris, and he's on Abbott.
Oh my God,
What
I
is
love
his
him.
Okay, I always call him Chris, so I apologize because he deserves more. But
And girl, he got a body now. But y'all know I love the nerds anyways.
Okay,
I do.
anyway,
Anyway,
them
I
nerds
was
be in, honey.
scrolling
they are
on
lovely.
X, Twitter, whatever, and he was talking about how he got the part on Abbott. And he was saying that the writer of Abbott was his neighbor at the time. And he was like trying out for some different shows or whatever. And she had came to him and said, I have this part that I'm imagining you for. And I've already started like writing this character around you. And I think you would be perfect for it. And so he was kind of like, you know, he was excited, but he also had some other projects he was working on. But ultimately, he was just like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something about her. Like, she just has that it factor. Like, he just felt really good about it. Anyways, he ended up taking the part. Obviously, Abbott has taken off. But his reflection on that was that he didn't even know that somebody somewhere was writing something for him.
Oof.
They already were doing something. They were speaking his name in a room that he wasn't in. They were creating something for him. He was going on with his life, doing all the things, and somebody had him on their mind. And for me, that was so powerful. Like, it's like, you just never know who's writing you into their plan, or who's thinking about you, or who, you know, is saying your name in rooms that you're not in. I want to give a shout out to producer Blake, because
Come on, Blake.
the very first time I did a podcast, he was the producer. He went on to do some other things, but he mentioned my name in a room with Dick's Drive-In, and pitched this idea. And a year later, we not only have 3 different candles with them, we have a set with them, we have all these different things. It's been amazing. We've sold out multiple times, and Blake didn't know me like that. We had met a couple of times, but he spoke my name in a room that I wasn't in. And so when you said that, I was just like, that's so powerful. You just never know, you know, how that can take you to the next level.
Half the time, I do not know.
Yeah.
They're like, so-and-so, and I'm like,
You're like, okay, yeah,
You
let
know,
me go back through my mental Rolodex.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yeah.
you're looking because I'm shocked.
Yeah.
That is one of the most shocking things. Even like I did an event yesterday, and it's a guy who comes into the kitchen a lot, and he owns his own company. He does a lot of maintenance and construction work. And the lady who booked me, she was like, yeah, he mentioned you. He's never bought anything from me. He just comes in the kitchen, he speaks and says hello.
And he just sees
and
what you're doing.
And she was like, I went on your page and I absolutely love it. You
Yes.
know? And it's instances like that just, I don't know. It's just a different
It's just
feeling.
another reminder that what is for you is for
It's
you.
for you.
And having those champions is invaluable.
But
you
wait,
know?
let me ask you this. Does it make you feel like, I feel like now there's a push for Black business, right?
Oh, yeah, for
And
sure.
so in those moments, doesn't it make you feel a little like we're actually doing the work? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not
I think,
performative.
yeah, there's a difference between being trendy and being, performative and then actually doing the
it.
work.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of companies and sectors that we worked with when they've been like, we actually have a diverse vendors list of people that we pull from, and they create lists of BIPOC owned businesses and actually try to work with them. I think that's important because otherwise you see the same old businesses, not old, but you see the same businesses all the time getting the same opportunities, and it's kind of a gatekeeping thing. You don't get to diversify, there aren't new opportunities for new businesses and people of color if someone has always got an upper hand in that regard. You know what I'm saying? So it takes for businesses, corporations, people to be intentional about how they're spending their money. They have to say, we want to spend it in this way and then take action on that. But okay. We're gonna close up. Everybody has an affirmation card. I'm just going to ask you to read it out loud to yourself. Listen, whoever you want to be. And then we will cheers.
Oh, we're doing it to ourselves.
No, read it out loud.
Oh, I thought you said read it to yourself.
You are the person that you're reading it to.
Oh. What's in her cup? Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, we ain't got that far yet. We ain't took shots today. Who's going first?
Okay, mine says, listen, bitch, give yourself the same love you pour out into the world.
Ooh, I love that.
Yes, and that is definitely
up and out.
Speaking to
and
me.
pouring in.
I will give my all to people and be
Yes.
tired and forget about myself.
Right.
Yes.
And you can't do that.
Cannot.
Yeah.
Listen, bitch, don't waste a drop of energy trying to change someone else.
Ooh. Does that resonate with you?
It does, because I'd be like, well, that don't make sense. I'm always trying to change somebody. I'm like, now what route is that? But you know what?
So
don't
if
waste
you
it.
are shifting to not changing other people, what does that look like?
Sleep.
Oh, just like
And creating boundaries.
Yep. Sleep, creating boundaries, and also just letting people do them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes you just have to let people
You
be
just
who
do. Yeah.
they are and love them for who they are.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Look, they both like that part.
'Cause, I mean,
Mine says, listen, bitch, even flowers go through dirt and shit. Keep blooming, baby.
Ooh.
I don't want to go through the shit, but
I mean, you've
going
already
through
been.
it.
I'm like, you already been through it, but you gotta keep blossoming, girl.
You're still blooming. Come on.
That's a
You're
part of your
still
story,
growing.
though.
Oh, it
And
is.
a
All
flower
of
is
it,
always beautiful, baby. So you
Yes.
better let
In the
that
beginning, it was just
shine
some
on you,
dirt.
honey.
Uh-huh.
Come
Well, I'm talking about like when the
Brush
process
that
of it.
dirt off your side.
Yes. And you
And
can
it
even
falls.
regrow it, The grass is
Absolutely,
not
yeah.
always greener. You just got to water it. That's what they say,
Ooh,
right? Come on now.
yes.
Keep watering that grass.
But what if I'm the rose that grew from concrete?
All of that.
Come on.
Come on.
Okay.
Cheers.
Y'all. Cheers. Cheers. To manifesting all the amazing things, pouring into each other, pouring into ourselves, and pouring up.
Amen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank y'all for being here. Clink, clink. All right, that's
A house is not a home. Did we just talk about something about the house and the home? I just had to sing. Good night.